What's up, guys? It's the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to episode 31. Alex, Alvaro, how are you guys?
Yo, you know, I mean, sadly, we all kind of expected this. So, I mean, we're maybe not expected it, but we're expecting it not to move on to, to not stay with hope after today. So, it would have been nice to at least get a draw against Bayern, but the team already knew that they weren't going to make it. I feel like they had, which it shouldn't be the right attitude. You should always aspire for the win, even if it's not like a meaningful win. But it is what it is, man. It's nice to see the fans are still like into it with the team.
hmm
They
Yeah,
brought them after the game and stuff like that. But
mhm.
it's
Yeah.
it's a tough scenery, then.
No, the first thing I want to say is even though that we're going through like this period where everything looks dark, the fans are still there supporting the team. I want to share with you guys something real quick. Um, these are scenes of what you see here are the fans cheering the players after the Bayern
Yeah,
defeat.
no, that's really what I was saying. That the fans were still like into it, like with the team and stuff, and
Yeah,
that's great to see.
yeah. This was after the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The fans asked the players, "Hey, all of you guys, come out.
Yeah.
I want to we want to encourage you." And then the, this is why we're so grateful to have these fans, just because like during these dark times, these fans are still pushing us. But I want to emphasize that in that moment, the players who are missing, you do not see any of the captains. You do not see Sergio Busquets. You do not see Pique. You do not see Sergio Roberto. Sergio Roberto's in the stands. He was injured. You can't blame him. But and you don't see Jordi Alba. None of the captains are there. And who goes out to do the post match conference? Pedri, 19-year-old.
It shows you.
Who's the ones who's showing
It
face?
shows you that shows you the level of dysfunctionality
No,
amongst the
no,
Barca
no, no, no.
captains.
I this was like in this was even though we knew that even before this game, we were out of the Champions League. We were going to the Europa. But what we needed to do today, what we needed to do is to go out and show some pride. Go like do not allow Bayern to come into your own stadium and win. I was furious today watching that Barcelona performance. At every single one of those players, they showed lifeless. They didn't show desire. They allowed Bayern to get there first, to get to basically to like outperform you in every single form. Even though on talent, like based on talent, they're not that far from you. The entire Barcelona performance, it was so pathetic and embarrassing to see this team with no desire, no desire to show some character. Barcelona have a long ways to go before we're even able to compete against the elite in Europe. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I don't even feel like talking right now, man. It's like we're saying, it's very upsetting. It's something that gives us a lot to reflect on, unfortunately, and not for the better, right? We've seen this team do this time and time again, give mediocre performances, and especially against Bayern. You know what do they have that other teams don't? Not a lot. We beat great teams. We beat Madrid. We beat Juventus. We beat United. We beat some of the best teams in history, and I don't know why it's like we have a mental block ever since 2020 in that A2 defeat, and it just sucks, man.
No, no,
And
you even go back then. Like this goes even like deeper. Since 2015, since we win that treble, Barcelona has not competed in Europe. 2016, we get eliminated by
But see,
Atletico Madrid. 2017, we get
this
eliminated
is
by Roma.
mhm.
2018, we get no 2018. No, we get eliminated by Juventus. We get eliminated by Juventus. In 2019, we get eliminated
Liverpool.
by Liverpool. In 2020, Bayern. 2021, we don't even get past the group stage. 2022, we don't even get past the group stage. But
I honestly think this needs to happen because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of fans, and you know what you guys were saying about the fans is cool, and it's very unfortunate how our captains are not showing their face. But at the end of the day, this is good because it shows the directory of the team, the Laporta, it shows Xavi, it shows all of the fans and the players that this team isn't ready to be that guy in Europe. This
No,
team still
but
has
look,
long ways to go, and it's just not. And
no,
and, and it's not even. No,
no,
no, no, let me finish that. It's not
yeah.
even like um, it's not even the players, man. Like we have the right players. I feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to a general lack of confidence in their own abilities, and I can't even call it like a chemistry because these guys have been together now for, let's say, over 4 months, and I know that's not the most time in the world, but for the quality that they each bring, it shouldn't be as big of a problem as they're making it seem. And I think you mix that lack of hunger, that lack of desire and confidence to win, mixed with that, then this team can only get you so far. We can only beat certain teams, and I'm not, obviously I'm not saying this team isn't built for trophies. I mean, it currently is. It has the players for it. I just know. I think we've also been unlucky with injuries, but I think at the end of the day, we've underperformed completely. We deserve what we've gotten right now. We
I
Yeah.
deserve the
actually,
spot that we're in.
when you said it before about like that, the fans needed to see the team struggle now to kind of like learn from this. They needed last year needed to happen because it was the first year of a rebuild, if you
Hmm.
want to call it that. And last year was a fluke, like everybody saw it coming. This year, with the team, with the way the team was built, the rebuild was over,
Yeah.
and you can tell. And this is probably the one sport that a rebuild can end like this. In sports like American football, baseball, basketball, a rebuild can take a couple years. In football, a rebuild just like Barca, with a team that has money and popularity, a rebuild can last half a season, a full season, but that's it.
So
And
no,
it
but
would
I disagree. You look
no
you look
no
at
no no
teams
no.
like Liverpool. Look at Liverpool, for instance. They got Klopp when 2016, 2017, around that time, maybe a little earlier. And when did they start winning? 2019.
No, but regardless, the spot they're both not in the same spot,
No, of
and
course, Liverpool had to do more,
and
but this is my
and
point. This
either
is my
way,
point. It's the players because that Liverpool side had way less depth. They still do. That Liverpool side had way less depth and overall less quality. They depended on key performances from key players. Those key players being Van
okay,
Dijk,
but look,
Mane,
the point is
Salah, Robertson, Arnold. That's it.
the point is this year we got unlucky with injuries, but this team was meant to move on from this, and
But
it's
you can't. That's my issue. Like as much as I want to blame it on the injuries, that conversation can only get you so far.
that,
No,
Because
no,
talk
it was a
about Spurs. Like,
no, it was a combination of everything.
that's what I'm saying.
I think
That's
it's
what I'm
this.
saying.
I think it's
Even
this.
though we got unlucky with the injuries, that wasn't the only reason why.
No, it goes like this. Why has Barcelona gotten out of the Champions League? It's a multitude of factors. One, Xavi is inexperienced. You see in the first game against Munich, you can't really like blame Xavi because Xavi had put everything for the team to succeed. Our finishing one that wasn't there, especially in the two games against Inter. You notice Xavi's inexperience. Two, injuries to critical players. At one point, we had all of our best defenders injured. We had Christensen, Kunde, Araujo, Sergio Roberto, Bellerin, all of them injured. So how is Xavi gonna a Frankie De Jong and Memphis? All of that for the first game against Inter. All of those players were injured. Third, poor refereeing. In the game is it again the game against Inter. If, for example, if we don't draw if we draw that game in the Camp Nou, it's not us who have to who have to go get points. It's Inter that have to go get points. Fourth, what was the fourth one? Barcelona isn't playing well. It's a multitude of factors that led to this situation, and that resulted in us being knocked out of the Champions League. Um,
And
before
listen,
before we go into the blame and everything, the deep root, the most going to the root of all of our problems, it's still the incompetence of the previous board. It's still the incompetence of the previous board because you don't fix all the problems in 1 year. Um, for example, the inability to revamp an aging core of players has like tremendously negatively impact our Barcelona in every single aspect, financially, economically, sporting, everything. It, is what it results in what we're seeing today, and the team still is in a rebuilding process, and we have to be patient. It's going to take a year or even two unless we see Barcelona compete against the giants in Europe.
listen, and I agree with you. Everything that you said is right. I agree. It's also a multitude of factors. That's why, we can't blame it on a single thing. But at the end of the day, it just seems like it's complicated, but it's simpler, right? Because let's look at the second game against Inter. What went wrong there?
And, and,
In,
and and that one, when you think about it, key defenders such as Kunde wasn't fit. You had PK, someone who was relegated to be our fifth choice center back, start. Hey,
See, that's fine. I agree.
we
He's
go,
not.
no, but then
Yeah.
but then again, the team should be composed. You only need to win. You do not need to be going up and down, and playing this vertical game. You need to be in control of the game. The Barcelona played with way too much vertical. They did not have control of the game. And when you play Inter's game of just like, hey, sit back, hit on the counter, sit back, hit on the counter, Barcelona are not suited to that. They do not have the players to play that sort of game. And Xavi didn't play the players that were suited for that game. For example, if you want to play like that, you do not play Sergio Busquets. You
Mhm.
play Frankie De Jong. You do not play Marcos Alonso. You play Balde. You choices like that harm the team. So it once again, a multitude of factors that have led to this situation. But let's look at this game specifically. Let's look at this game specifically. Xavi lined up with Balde at left back, which was a great choice. I think he was our best player of the night. He was what a left back we have. I think we're set in that
Mhm.
position. Balde was imperious today. Um, Marcos Alonso
Hey,
left.
and we called it Alonso left center back, Baldy at the left.
Uh-huh. Bellerin in the right, Kunde right center back. Xavi went with the 4-4-2. He went with Pedri on the left, Frankie de Jong and Busquets in the pivot, and then Cassie as a more advanced midfielder. Dembele on the right, and Lewandowski up top. Personally, I think for this type of game in big games, I do not ever want to see I sincerely think that Busquets has played his final Champions League game for Barcelona. I don't think he's ever going to play a Champions League game
And
again
that's
for.
what I said the other day. I feel like today's game was almost like as a last chance to prove yourself if you deserve minutes or if you deserve consideration past January.
No. No,
So
well, and once again, you put Pedri all the way on the left. You isolate him. You put him away from like the center of the pitch he's basically our best player. You
and
push him
and
all the way to the left. You have Kessie, who is completely lost in that position as attacking midfielder. Kessie looks so lost today. He didn't know when to defend, when to attack, where to be. All of this to accommodate Busquets. Bellerin had a shocker of a game. And this is also like, hey, this is Bellerin's first competitive start in weeks and weeks. And even when before he got injured a couple of weeks ago, he was still coming back from a huge injury. So he wasn't in preseason with us. These are the circumstances that Xavi has to work with.
it's not getting easier. I said it in the last podcast. After this World Cup, that January transfer window is gonna be massively important for every major competitor. And here's a problem: it shows you that we're most likely not gonna be trapped with your Diaba, Piqué, and Busquets the rest of the season. Because after the World Cup, Xavi and Laporta and Alemany, they'll have to see where the team is at health wise. I almost guarantee that one of our starters in the midfield is gonna be out. I mean, our starting midfield is literally the Spanish starting midfield.
Mm-hmm.
We have Frankie playing in Netherlands, so that's almost a guarantee that someone's gonna get injured there. and our defense is something's guaranteed to happen. So, and I hate to say it, but we're gonna see more of your Diab and Piqué the rest of the year after this World Cup,
Mm,
and it shows you that no matter how much shit we want to talk about their bad performances, they're gonna be Plan D in January, and it's gonna be our Plan A because it might be our only option depending on how that happens. And the same thing going with other transfers in January. Some mid players might be extremely overpriced because teams are gonna be desperate for backup, and the prices are gonna go high with more demand.
yeah.
So we'll see how that happens.
No. It's just so disappointing. I was watching that game. I had so much anger because I saw Bayern Munich beating us, and not only in terms of intensity and physicality, they, they were you saw every single Bayern Munich player running, running to track back to make sure that Barcelona were not being able to attack. You saw Choupo-Moting bursting back. You saw Gnabry. You saw Mane. You saw every single Bayern Munich player dart back to help the defense, and then you see Barcelona jogging or like sometimes it's like half sprints. In the midfield, no one. These players were. Barcelona is light years away from the top teams in Europe to be able to compete. Um, I think once again we have to ask questions of Xavi. I think Xavi's inexperience will once again show today. I don't think Busquets. Well, uh, we'll be analyzing all this a little bit deeper, but another embarrassing UCL night. We're heading.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was more pissed off about that Inter game than Barca because Victoria was holding it down for the first like 30 minutes or so. They were playing very well, and then out of nowhere, the floodgates open and
Yeah,
2-0 in like 10 minutes. But it is what it is, man. Me personally, I mean, call me spoiled. I'm not gonna be paying too much attention to the Europa League. I mean, I expect them to get further than last year. There's really nothing else to say. They should beat up any team that comes their way. I'm more worried about La Liga, and we'll see what happens from now on.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
Madrid,
oh, yeah.
Madrid's not slowing down, and this World Cup break might be a blessing or a curse for us. Maybe
Mm.
Madrid gets hobbled out with injuries, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I have a general question for you guys. If we're not to win the league, but we win the Europa League, is that a win for us?
I would say how we lose the La Liga title and how we win
We get
the.
second place in La Liga.
Yeah. If we lose within like 3 points in La Liga, maybe we're gonna.
It's
Yes.
context. So
My,
Yeah,
my,
it's,
my
it's
question is, my question is, does winning
Because also, if you miss out on the two Spanish trophies, the Copa del Rey and Supercopa, and your only achievement was the Europa League, that's different. That's context right there.
no, but listen, I'm making it simpler. I'm making it simpler. Let me ask the question differently. If we are to win the Europa League, does that take off some sort of guilt from Xavi?
it does.
I don't know.
I would say it does because a trophy is still a trophy, even though it's a Europa League.
No, but that's
we
my
should
point.
go.
We want to win silverware. Europa
No,
League is
no,
not
but
optimal. I get it.
no. But the main objective for right now is to win La Liga. That is the main priority. But if we do lose La Liga, we need to see how we lost it and by how much. That determines our reaction. Because, for example, if we lose by 3 points or by 2 points, and Real Madrid are just they just constantly win, and so do we. We win all of our games, then say, oh, we lost one game. Like, come on, how can you blame Xavi? But if it's by 10, 15 points, then like say, hey, Xavi, what are you doing? This is where you have to ask questions. But the main theme of today, it was this team is not good enough. Clearly not good enough to compete neither on the pitch and up here, where you see the team if like collapse if the opposition score first. But I was actually gonna ask you guys something. The question came out of my mind. I'll ask it soon enough. But It's so disappointing. So disappointing. But what are your expectations now for the season?
I think it's what we've said: win the league. If the
Win the
Europa
league?
League comes, like I don't think you should be killing yourself over Europa. Like, especially if we have easier fixtures, play your bench, rotate the squad. The league is the main concern right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And then okay, and even though we've talked about a lot of negative things so far, we have to look into the positives. So far, we under Xavi, we have had our best league start in a while. We are only 3 points behind Real Madrid, and we still have the Copa del Rey, and we'll see what we do in the Europa League. There are promising signs in this team. Just there's a lot of work to do before we're able to compete with the Giants.
For sure.
But guys, that was it for tonight's episode. Unfortunately, it was another embarrassing UCL night. It wasn't a performance that we wanted. We wanted to go out of the Champions League with pride, um, but it just wasn't meant to be. As always, thank you for the fans, and I post a link on Twitter if any of you guys want to join and discuss with us, and give your thoughts on and join the discussion. You're always welcome to. Uh, Subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll see you guys all on next episode.